Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to look at part 2 of this topic, discipleship and the individual. Now, yesterday we looked at what it costs us to follow Christ, that he calls us to leave all associations behind and follow him. And this call is an individual call, right? To forsake all associations and earthly bonds, if you will, to follow him wherever he may lead. Now, it doesn't stop there. That's not where the story ends. He doesn't just call us to leave all and be monks or soloists out in the mountains, right? He calls us to something. He calls us to the true fellowship, to the people of God. Now we're going to read from Mark 10:28 through 31. But before I do, I want to read a kind of a quote of a backdrop here from Bonhoeffer's book. It is not for us to choose which way we shall follow. That depends on the will of Christ. But this at least is certain. In one way or the other, we shall have to leave the immediacy of the world and become individuals, whether secretly or openly. So all of us will have to, whether we're public figures and have to renounce all to follow Christ, or secretly that not many people care, but God cares, and we have to leave that behind, which hinders, and follow him. Let's go on. But the same mediator who makes us individuals is also the founder of a new fellowship. He stands in the center between my neighbor and myself. He divides, but he also unites. Thus, although the direct way to our neighbor is barred, we now find the new and the only real way to him, the way which passes through the mediator. Let's read Mark 10:38 through 31 now. Peter began to say unto him, Lo, we have left all and have followed thee. Jesus said, Verily I say unto you, there's no man that has left house, or brethren, or sisters, or mother, or father, or children, or lands, for my sake, and for the gospel's sake, but he shall receive 100-fold now in this time, houses, and brethren, and sisters, and mothers, and children, and lands, with persecutions, and in the world to come, eternal life. But many that are first shall be last, and the last first. Of this passage, Bonhoeffer says, Jesus is here speaking to men who have become individuals for his sake, who have left all at his call and can say to themselves, Lo, we have left all and have followed thee. They receive the promise of a new fellowship, according to the word of Jesus. They will receive, in this time, 100-fold what they have left. Jesus is referring to his church, which finds itself in him. He who leaves his father for Jesus' sake does most definitely find father, mother, brothers and sisters again, and even lands and houses. Though we all have to enter upon discipleship alone, we do not remain alone forever. So I think that's a good quote, right? Although we have to enter this call following Christ alone as individuals, he doesn't leave us alone. If we take him at his word and dare to become individuals, our reward is the fellowship of the church. Here is a visible brotherhood to all, to compensate 100-fold for all we have lost. 100-fold? Yes. For we now have everything through the mediator, but with this provision, with persecutions. 100-fold with persecutions. Such is the grace which is granted to the church, which follows its Lord beneath the cross. Such also is the promise which is held out to Christ's followers. They will be members of the community of the cross, the people of the mediator, the people under the cross. So we see a beautiful picture in there and a promise, not only of eternal life, but blessings, temporal blessings here in this world when we follow him, that he'll restore 100-fold. So we'll have a better life. It's not just that we'll have a better life, though. There's a caveat with persecution. So the believer, in giving up all of his associations, he's given new associations. He's given new lands and houses and all these things, right? But he has to undergo the suffering of his Lord now. As Jesus said, if they hated me, they will hate you. And so obviously, doesn't mean every single person will hate us, but the point is the believer has now not only the struggles of the world. In fact, the struggles of the world begin to fade out because he's no longer in the bondage of sin. And those struggles become less and less. But the believer now has new struggles, right? Of walking the ways of the Lord, of walking against the grain of culture, and sometimes being opposed for it. But we have the promise of Christ that we receive blessing both now and in eternity. But it's not without trial. It's not without tribulation. But those who endure to the end will be saved. We have a great promise in that. Let us think on these things. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a blessed day.